99.9 KTDY. Best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Gwen Stefani and Akon and The Sweet Escape. It's 8:07. It's Wednesday. That can only mean one thing. It's Wellness Wednesday, and Dr. Kevin from the Bryant Wellness Institute. He's here in the flesh. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Actually, there's stripe in the parking lot, so I didn't realize I drove over their stripes pulling in.
So now you have stripes on your
I have
tires?
stripes on my new truck, yeah.
Oh, so they go back and they have to redo it?
They said it wasn't that bad, but they needed some kind of
They should have put some little cones
cones or
out.
something, yeah.
Oh, dear.
So you just whipped
barreled right in there.
messed up that paint job.
Yeah.
Our boss has been talking about that paint job for a whole week. He's proud of it.
Well, I left permanent marks out in the
Oh,
parking lot.
man. Oh, he's going to be like, it's ruined before we
Yeah.
even get it. Okay. So what you talking about today, Doc?
Well, I wanted to touch on just a few really quick points to finish up our discussion on thyroid disorders.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I have a couple of really huge announcements to make today. But I wanted to just a few more minutes on thyroid because it's so important to everything else that takes place in the body. You know, your thyroid controls a lot of other things. And so taking good care of your thyroid is critical to so many other functions that take place in your body, your energy level, your sleep. There's so many other things that your thyroid controls. It's important that we take good care of it. And, you know, I thought about this, and the number one question that I get whenever I'm asked about thyroid is patients get a little confused. They'll say, well, my thyroid numbers were high. Why does that mean my thyroid is not producing? I thought my thyroid numbers were high. So what they mean by that is that their thyroid is the thyroid number that was high is their TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. So the thyroid the hormone that was high was the hormone that tells your thyroid to get into gear, to kick up, to pick up speed. So if the TSH is high, that means your thyroid hormones are low. So what happens, your pituitary produces thyroid stimulating hormone when you don't have enough thyroid hormone. So that's why
it's trying to say start,
yeah,
crank that engine, thyroid.
Exactly. Let's get things going.
Okay.
Right. So when TSH is high, that means your thyroid is not working. Now, if TSH is really low, that means your thyroid is overworking. And so thyroid stimulating hormone is just one of the many markers you can check to determine thyroid function. Now, it's not the best one, and it's the one they check most of the time, and they a lot of times ignore all the other ones. Now, the number two question that I get is, why did my thyroid stop working in the first place? And that is the question that we really should be asking. Most doctors, they say they don't know why, or maybe they don't even look, or because the treatment doesn't change. If TSH is high, they're going to add Synthroid. It's real simple for them. But in functional medicine, we want to know what the cells are doing and why these things are happening, and we want to know what the cells, how we can get the cells to work better than what they are. So knowing why the thyroid is malfunctioning is critical information for what we do. Now, it's very important that you know what the thyroid is actually producing in much more than just what the TSH shows. So TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone, is not the whole picture. And once we know why, now we can begin to look at ways to positively affect the cells to improve their function. And the other thing that I want people to know, and this is probably one of the biggest things that I hear as well, is just because your numbers have been forced to fit into this box does not mean that your thyroid can't still make you feel bad. So what I mean by that is people think that well, I've been to the doctor, my thyroid was low, and I'm taking medication, and now my thyroid fits into this box. So I still feel bad, but it couldn't be my thyroid because my thyroid numbers are, quote, normal. That's not true. Your thyroid can still make you feel bad even though your numbers have been forced to fit into this box. And so there's a way bigger picture than that. It's much, much more complex. So don't think if you still feel bad and your numbers are fitting into this box that they've created for you that your thyroid can't still be affecting how you feel, because that is not true at all. It can still be making you feel really bad even though your numbers are, quote, normal. So patients will come in and say, well, it's not my thyroid. They check that, and I'm on medicine. My thyroid's normal, but I feel bad for some other reason, and they can't find the other reason. and they've overlooked the thyroid a little bit too quickly in those cases. Your thyroid can still make you feel bad, even though your numbers are normal. So
if you find that, excuse me, if you find that one is, even after taking medication, what's the solution? Is there a solution?
Well, there is, and we look at a lot of other factors. You know, your traditional blood work for thyroid checks one thing, and that's the TSH I talked about. Our thyroid panel is about 12 to 14 different hormones and building blocks and thyroid markers, and so there's a much more complex picture. And we're going to dive into that in great detail at our workshop. It's going to be tomorrow night. It's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn at 7 o'clock. And so that's a little bit too complicated to get into because I have charts and graphs and all that. But that's exactly what we're going to talk about at the workshop. So if you want to register for that, you can call right now to register. It's going to be 837-7174 in Lafayette. And then if you want to go to Dr. Fontenot's in New Iberia area, it's 367-2567. And listen, we originally had a room available for 40 people, and we had about 55 the last time I looked call. So I called the hotel and I doubled our conference room size. So now we've gone from room for 40 to room for 80, and I think we have about 60 or 65 people scheduled. So in other words, we've opened up more space.
Okay.
So if you called last week and couldn't get in, we now have room available for you guys, because this is so many people have so many questions about this. It's such a popular workshop.
Well, so many people have thyroid issues.
Yeah, and we never heard of this 30 or 40 years ago.
I know it.
I mean, we might have met one person in our life that had thyroid. Now it's so normal. People don't even, oh yeah, I take Synthroid, but and so does this person, so does that person, but it's okay.
Synthroid, I used to take Synthroid, and they moved me to Armor.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the difference is, but
yeah, well, Synthroid still has to go through one step before it becomes usable thyroid, and Armor doesn't. And so one of the
is one like created in a lab and one from like real animals?
Yeah, kind of. It's a little more complex than that. But the thing to know on this is there's an enzyme that it takes to convert Synthroid to usable thyroid. I believe there's one, and then Armor doesn't. Armor is already usable, but those are all things that we're going to check, and that's a kind of a simplified version of it. But we're going to dive into that at the workshop and go into great detail about how all that works. That's a very, very simplified explanation. But we're gonna kind of dive into all these complex discussions about the thyroid and how it works and what we need to do to affect it. And so it's 837-7174, and then in New Iberia it's 367-2567. Now, when we get back, I will have two really cool announcements, and we'll discuss just a little bit about thyroid, and then we'll be done for the day. So, yeah, we just had a caller that said her numbers were normal, but she had nodules that were cancerous on her thyroid. So you can see this is a complex issue. You can't go just by what the numbers are showing. This is such a complex matter, and it's going to take me really all hour tomorrow night to explain all the intricacies and ins and out of all of this. So, I wanted to invite everybody to come. Now, everyone that comes is going to get a $200 certificate to cover a personal visit with me one-on-one in my office to do our complete health check.
And he's good looking.
And so everybody that comes is going to get a $200 certificate to cover a personal wellness visit with us. So, it's 837-7174, or in New Iberia, it's 367-2567, or, you can always join us on our Facebook at the Bryant Wellness Institutes. Now, for my big announcement.
Do we need a drum roll?
We do.
Okay. A long one or a short one?
A short one.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. Next week will be my final Wellness Wednesday show with CJ and Debbie Ray.
Next week.
We're retiring the show. And so
we're not.
But you're not retiring.
We're not retiring. We're moving. You're moving.
Yeah, but we're retiring the show. We're retiring the CJ and Debbie Ray Wellness Wednesday with CJ and Debbie Ray show. So yeah, we had a great one for the past 6 years. I had such a great time with you guys, and I wanted to thank the two of you for having me each week. It has been quite a pleasure. And I always try to give our audience the latest information on ways that they can stay well. And every fact that I've ever come on here and talked about has been 100% researched and proven facts. And so I hope that we've been able to positively affect some lives. In fact, I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but I know of specific cases where people have come to see me because of this show, And if they had not done so, it would have either ended or ruined their life.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are responsible for saving and changing people's lives by having.
Well, that's so nice of you
by
to say.
having
It's,
this
but
show.
it's you.
But you
it's
are
you. It's
responsible.
you.
Yeah.
It's not us.
And so I'm going to be hosting my very own show on KPEL, which is 96.5. That's our sister station right across the hall here. It's going to be Saturday mornings. It's going to be called Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. So I'm going to have a full hour. That's going to give me more time to expand on some of these complex issues. It's going to be my own show, so I can get deeper into my healthcare philosophy on ideas of future medicine and new treatments. And we're going to have time to really get into some of today's worst health challenges in much more detail than what we're we were able to do here. Because I mean, I'm a guest, and now I'm gonna be running my own show. So it's gonna be fantastic.
Look at you grow.
I'm so excited about it. Yes, and so I wanted to invite everybody to tune in this Saturday morning at 10 on 96.5 KPEL.
It's at 10 a.m.?
10 a.m. And the new show is going to be called Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. And so I'm very excited to be getting my own show. And I look forward to
Deb,
it.
we got a spinoff.
A spinoff show, yeah. That is awesome.
Wow.
So I haven't thought about that, but it is a spinoff show, so that's really cool. Now, my next announcement is I will also be hosting a live show on Facebook on Thursdays at noon called Dr. Kevin Live and Online. And so this show is going to be really neat because it's going to be on our Facebook page, and it's going to be real time. You can write questions, and it's like more of a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So you can type questions into your phone, and it comes right up on my screen, and we can discuss, complicated issues like the lady that just called in.
Mm-hmm.
She could have typed her question, and we could have discussed it right there online on the show. And so I want everybody to
When is that?
It's going to be Thursdays at lunch, Thursdays at noon.
Okay.
And I want you to pick up your phone right now and like our Facebook page, the Bright Wellness Institutes, and catch my show. It's going to be Thursdays at lunch, Thursdays at noon, and it's going to be much more conversational with the audience. It's going to be a fantastic way for us to communicate and stay in tune with each other. And so, like our Facebook page and join me this Thursday at lunch. It's going to be Dr. Kevin Live and Online show, and I'm really excited about that one as well. And
we want to be guests on your new show.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'll be
We
great.
can do walk-ons.
So we will do our wrap-up show next week with you guys.
What are you going to do
and
next week for your final one here?
I don't know. Maybe we'll do our greatest moments of the last 6 years or something.
Oh, we don't
you know?
have any. We have, I'm sure would be real
He's
short.
had a
Yeah.
few.
Well,
Yeah, you've had a few. People say to us all the time, when y'all are gone, why don't you have a best of show? When we get one, we'll record it.
Yeah.
So the new show debuts when?
This week,
This
this
week.
Saturday.
Okay.
The Thursday Live and Online, Dr. Kevin is going to debut next Thursday.
Gotcha.
So that show starts next week. But I'm gonna be on Facebook Live. I just got this Facebook Live thing going last week. So
Oh, it's
or actually a few days ago.
It's
so
something.
It's really
It's
neat,
real
yeah.
time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be posting a few things on there, and then we'll start the Thursday Live and Online show next week. But tune in this Saturday at 10 o'clock on KPEL 96.5 for Get Well Acadiana.
So your first show on KPEL is this Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Then you come back to us next Wednesday for your final show.
Uh-huh.
And then you launch on Thursday your Facebook Live show.
Correct.
You are a busy man.
I'm telling you.
Wow. Well, good for you. Thank you.
CJ,
Doc.
it's almost like our baby is going off
It
to
is.
college.
I know it. I almost have a tear in my left eye.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anybody
I'm
got
all
a
grown
clean
up now.
I know, right? You're a big boy. We're going to be like seeing you leaving the Honda, all loaded up.
Yeah.
And we're waving, and Deb and I are standing in the yard crying.
Empty nesters.
Okay. Well,
We
good
wish
for
you the
Doc.
best,
Yes,
but we're excited to see
absolutely.
you again next
Good.
week.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
See you guys next week.
All right. Dr. Kevin Wellness Wednesday.